Creation, Goblet of the Truth Index by Dr. Pleune. Part 1.
Goblet of the Truth Index by Dr. Pleune, drpleune@gmail.com.
Creation. A person is animated through its breath, spirit form. Chapter 10, lines 5.
You have proceeded from the inspiration or idea of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, and therefore you are animated through its breath or spirit/spirit form, so that you are a minute part of itself which will return to it at the end of all time. And this promise is truthful. Truly, the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation brought all life forth in prehistory or in the origin, all presence or existence, all kinds of life or life forms, and everything that is, and it created the law of appearing or becoming, and fading or passing equals becoming and passing by means of which it renews everything time and time again, so that life may go on or continue in reawakening or being reborn.
Creation, all-embracing energy and power. Chapter 28, lines 180.
Be certain, there is only one creation as all-embracing energy and power, which gives life to everything in existence and to all created creations, namely the universal consciousness, which is the whole creation, also includes itself and everything created through it. And there is no God, no tin god, and no idolized human being who would, even in a speck of dust of a weight, be equal to the creation. Because all godheads and tin gods are only insubstantialities fabulated by you human beings and are without any energy and power, just like the human beings who you raise to idols of godly equivalence.
Creation, all existence of everything existing, has originated. Chapter 2, lines 144.
When you are told that you shall be knowing in the real truth, then you lie that you are knowing and that you understand the truth, however only in order to curse the knowledge about it hereafter, although the real truth is the actual truth that is affirmed by the laws of the primal power or creation, and natural laws, from which all existence of everything existing has originated. Therefore you prefer to slay the proclaimers, the prophets, of the truth, teaching rather than being honest to yourselves and to people of your kind or fellow human beings, and turning yourselves to the eternal truth.
Creation, all is created in love, yet all is allowed to function by itself. Chapter 28, lines 198 to 201.
But it is not clear to many amongst you human beings of earth what the truth of all truth is, nor is it clear to you what the creation and the reality are. For the majority amongst you, truth, creation, and reality are confusing terms which you equate with your belief in a god, tin god, or a human being raised to a godly idol. But no, creation and reality are themselves practicing love, fairness, harmony, peace, and freedom, because these values are based in and carried in the unmovable and unbribable laws and recommendations of the creation itself and pulse through the entire universe. The love in particular is the fundamental factor of all being of the whole creation, as everything is created out of the creation itself, out of the universal consciousness, and so, just as through the creation everything is bound in love, so should it also be amongst you human beings of earth, namely, that you embrace everything in love. You next ones, all your fellow human beings and the whole humankind, the nature and its plant world, the planet, the animals, all creatures and everything that crawls and flies. But you only embrace yourselves in your Oscar Tet, selfish self-love, whereas you bring only apparent love to your fellow human beings as well as your humankind. You band together in apparent love for the friendship, do not even know the true parent and sibling love anymore, nor the love for the next ones, but only the doubtful imperiousness love, immodesty love, the stinginess love, and pathological egoism love, as well as the obsession love for riches, for money, for self-benefit and worldly pleasures.
Creation all life originated from it. Chapter 2 lines 290.
Do not quarrel with people of your kind or fellow human beings, or with those without equitableness, or unfair ones, irresponsible ones, inequitable ones, and not with unknowing ones, and therefore not with believers regarding the real truth, because it is given by the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, and they are immutable. Only the wellspring of wisdom or creation is the true might over you, and the unmeasurable secret, and you shall not have either other mights or gods and tin gods or venerable ones or holy ones beside it. Truly, only the wellspring of wisdom or creation is the highest over you, and it alone has performed the great works on earths or worlds, planets, and in the firmaments or universe, and only from it have all earths or worlds, planets, and firmaments or universe, and all life originated. In the same wise, you also shall carry out your works according to your ability, so that great as greatness, and good as goodness, may come forth from them. And when doing this, be at all times upright in your efforts, because you shall not be malefactors or lawbreakers, and remember that you shall not misuse the name of the wellspring of wisdom or creation, and that you shall keep it honored.
Creation all life originated from the spark of inspiration idea of the primal power of the life creation. Chapter 19 lines 1.
The laws and recommendations of the primal power of the life or creation are given for all created creations, or creatures, creations, life forms, that have arisen from the spark of inspiration or idea of the primal power of the life or creation, therefore both for those untalented in cognition or rationality, and true discernment or intellect, which are all animals and other creatures of the land, the air and the water, and also for people of your kind or human beings, who are fruitful or bearing versed in cognition or rationality, and true discernment or intellect, and who guide or lead your existence willingly or consciously.
Creation all life proceeded from it and will return to it again one day. Chapter 19 lines 88 to 89.
And truly, everything living which moves itself in a wise that is visible for you, and everything living in stillness or material that moves in a wise that is not visible to you, comes forth from the effects of the powerful laws and recommendations of the primal power of the life or creation. So you, as people of your kind or human beings, have also proceeded from it, and will return to it again one day. You have proceeded from its idea and from its decision, and it has laid in you the continuous assiduousness or striving for the unfolding or evolution of the love and of your inner world or consciousness, so that you may become knowing or conscious and wise.
Creation all that exists belongs to it and has come from it, and will one day return to it. Chapter 10 lines 57.
It is the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, which gives life and brings about death to everything persisting or existing, through its all-embracing laws and recommendations, so that everything may come about anew in reawakening or new birth and rebirth, and will one day return to it because everything belongs to it and has come forth from it.
Creation all things came into existence through it. Chapter 11 lines 7.
Consider that everything is based on the truth, also the existence of all things in the firmaments or universe, on the earths or worlds, planets, and on all lights or celestial bodies of the firmament, and truly not one created creation or life form that lives craze, walks or flies anywhere was called into life by gods or tin gods. Rather, they were all called into life by the truth of the laws and recommendations of the primal power of all primal power of creation.
Creation all things created through the primal power creation, not by gods, or Tin Gods chapter 11 lines 8.
Truly, you have stories or fables of the origination of your world and of the firmaments or universe, conceived through hazy pictures or delusion, of people of your kind or human beings, who thought up gods and tin gods for themselves who are supposed to have created your earth. But these are in truth only fabulated narratives or myths, by impostors without sense and value. And everything is only evident deception or delusion. Because truly everything persisting or existing was set into existence or life solely through the determining laws and recommendations of the primal power of all primal power or creation.
Creation all truth is in the creation, and its laws and recommendations chapter 2 lines 201.
All truth is in the creation and in its laws and recommendations. Therefore do not create your own and false truth in yourselves. Otherwise you are turning yourselves into people without equitableness, or unfair ones, irresponsible ones, inequitable ones, and into doubters.
Creation by it all exists chapter 10 lines 32 to 35.
It is only through the activities of the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation that you are supplied with food from the earth. Although you have G-vault over your eyes and ears, it is nevertheless only through the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation that the might is given for living things to be brought forth in vegetation or plants, to thrive, because through them all things are guided according to their kind. Therefore, in this and in all things of existence or life, you need the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, and without them and their activities, you could not breathe or exist. And everything in the extent of all firmaments or universe, and all earths or worlds, planets, and all kinds of life or life forms is the presence or existence of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, and the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation itself, because it is the inner world of all inner worlds and of all firmaments or universal consciousness. Therefore do not live in erroneous assumption, and do not reject the truth that it alone is the might of all mights in all firmaments or universe, and of all presence or existence. Be drawn away or turn yourselves away from all untruth and inequity or unfairness, from unrighteousness or consciencelessness, and therefore from your gods and tin gods, which can neither help you nor harm you. Do not be indignant ones against the truth, rather prove yourselves to be true as people of your kind or human beings, so that you may give honor and dignity for your kind. Consider that amongst all your gods, tin gods and demons, all of whom you have fabulated and fabulate or have invented and invent, there is none which can bring forth or create life or a created creation or life form, or any presence or existing thing. Let it decay and become again. Truly, it is only the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, which, through their activities, bring forth or create everything. Let it decay and renew again. It is therefore necessary to ask why you let yourselves be drawn away or turn away from this through fabulated or invented gods and tin gods. 36. And consider that amongst your gods and tin gods there is none, because they are all fabulated or invented, which could guide you to the truth. Because truly a guidance to the truth can only be found in the signs or evidence of the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, and it is only through it that you are led or guided in dignity to the truth. And the teaching of the prophets shows you the way to it if you are unable to find the way out of your own. But truly, even if you are led or guided onto the right way through the teaching of the truth, the teaching of the Spirit, the teaching of the life, then you will have to take the way yourselves and lead or guide yourselves, because your own striving and your own perseverance or will is your kingdom of heaven.
Creation by the truth of the laws and recommendations chapter 4 lines 167 to 169.
Truly, everything that has been created in the firmaments or universe, and on earths or worlds, planets, is the act or deed of the creation, and also its laws and recommendations, by means of which you are protected in your existence, if you give them ampleness or sufficiency, and you receive the teaching of the truth, the teaching of the Spirit, the teaching of the life, through the true prophets by which you come to know the teaching of the laws and recommendations of the creation, so that you may turn yourselves to it and be knowing or conscious in the truth, and so you give yourselves satisfaction. The firmaments or universe, and earths or worlds, planets, and all existence are created by the truth of the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, so that you are present or existent, and you may dedicate yourselves to the duty of unfolding or evolution of your inner world or consciousness. If you want to, you can keep yourselves from learning the truth, teaching, but you cannot put others in your place who could bring fullness or sufficiency to the learning of the truth teaching and to the unfolding or evolution of your inner world or consciousness for you or learning for you.
Creation confer respect and dignity. It does not demand worship. Chapter 3 lines 78.
And truly, only the truth of the primal power or creation has validity through its laws and recommendations, and only the teaching of its truth is a truthful message and explanation. And therefore only the primal power or creation is the truthful one for you to confer respect and dignity, because it alone is in goodness and love and wisdom the sole might in the firmaments or universe, and on the earths or worlds, planets. And just as respect and dignity shall be paid to the primal power or creation, nothing of the same or in the same wise shall be paid to all the fabulated or invented gods and tin gods, and neither to the people of your kind or human beings, nor to liberators or angels and demons, venerable ones or holy ones, priests and the like who are only servants of gods and servants of tin gods, because truly they are not worthy of worship, which is what they all crave. The primal power or creation does not demand worship, because worship is only a confused and bad work of people of your kind or work of human beings, which leads to submissiveness and unfreedom and to servitude or bondage. If you do say a prayer, then do not do so in worship, which is dignityless supplication and begging without honor and calling for magic rituals, and is not the same as praying, which is a directed call for something valueful and perceptions to arise from the inner world or consciousness, so that everything shall come about through your own might in order to serve progress or evolution.
Creation connection with it is through creating everything in your own inner nature on your own, not to a Godhead. Chapter 25 lines 135 to 137.
See the truth. Everything existent of all existence is true life, because nothing is integrated into the lifelessness, but rather into constant developmental change in the becoming and passing and rebecoming. Therefore, good for you, you amongst you human beings, who realize the profound moments of the connection with the love of the all-embracing creation, can hold on to it, and are able to swing yourselves upwards on it. But you are only able to do this if you are yourselves, and create everything in your own inner nature on your own, and do not hold on to a Godhead, tin god, idolized human being, and neither onto any religious, ideological or philosophical and rigid belief forms, but rather solely and exclusively onto the truthly truth of all truth, as it is laid down through the creation and its laws and recommendations. Therefore, you humankind of earth, you must strive and evolve as individuals in yourselves, from out of your own consciousness as well as out of the thoughts and feelings, in order to come to the truth and to the fine spiritual perceiving of the love of the creation, so there can be true love and harmony, as well as freedom and peace in you, in order to then also carry forth these high values, so that you may profit from them, and so that everything may turn to the best well-being amongst you all.
Creation continues until the end of time, at which time it will slumber for a new awakening. Chapter 25 lines 224.
The time does not stand still and does not remain the same. because it has been going since the primal beginning of the creation and all its myriad-fold creations. Thus, since time immemorial, yesterday, today, tomorrow, in thousands of years, and in all future until the end of the time, when the creation together with all its creations contracts and lies itself in slumber in order to appear in the new awakening as primal creation.
Creation created all life, not gods or tin gods. Chapter 11 lines 7.
Consider that everything is based on the truth, also the existence of all things in the firmaments or universe, on the earths or worlds, planets, and on all lights or celestial bodies of the firmament, and truly not one created creation or life form that lives, plays, walks or flies anywhere was called into life by gods or tin gods. Rather, they were all called into life by the truth of the laws and recommendations of the primal power of all primal power or creation.
Creation created all mankind. Chapter 4 lines 2.
You have been created in your origin from the wellspring of all life or creation, and you have made yourselves companions as man and wife and have multiplied. Heed one another and be afraid of doing unright to one another, so that you may be good to one another and make requests instead of issuing commands. Uphold the bonds of relationship between one another, because both as woman and as man you have entered into life as people of your kind or human beings. Therefore amongst you the only differences are the body, sex, and the nature or thought world/feeling world/character, actions and behavior, feelings, the power, the attraction or charms, and the capability or ability of pregnancy. Truly, as woman and man are in inequality or difference in these things, yet in existence they have common duties and rights, so that neither the man shall stand above the woman in any things, nor the woman above the man. And just as man and woman undertake the same work, so they shall receive their wages equally, so that neither the man nor the woman is paid more than the other for the same labors.
Creation created man and woman from its unchangeable laws. Chapter 7 lines 190.
It is the wellspring of the love or creation that created you out of its unchangeabilities or laws, man and woman, and as you are therefore its created creations or creatures/creation/life forms, you shall revive yourselves with everything that it has created for your benefit or success. And so you do rightfully and recognize and follow the laws and recommendations of the wellspring of the love or creation, so you have a light burden to carry throughout your life. But if the burden becomes heavy for you, then adjust yourselves in yourselves accordingly, so that you will be of good courage and can with gratitude cast down or master everything terrible.
Creation created space, universe, planets, stars and celestial bodies, etc., as well as the laws and recommendations. Chapter 10 lines 1 to 9.
Consider the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, so that you follow them and lead a good life. This is the teaching of the true prophets who bring you words that are full of wisdom. It appears wonderful to you that a prophet from your midst proclaims the truth, admonishes or warns you, and also announces a joyful message to you. However, do not be self-righteous or arrogant, and do not assume or believe that you take on a special importance or rank, differing from other people of your kind or fellow human beings, because you may happen to possess more goods and riches, or are in a position of authority, and do not view the true prophet as someone who might not be someone of your kind or a human being, and therefore do not view him as a charlatan or as a practitioner of suggestive spells and acts or magician. And learn what he teaches you in the name of the truth, so that you may follow the teaching, and things may go well with you. Truly, you have proceeded from the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, which set you into existence or life, as an inspiration or idea, at the start of your presence or existence. And it is the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation is the one which, in prehistory or primeval times, created the expanded or endless space and all firmaments or universe, and all earths or worlds, planets, and all lights in the firmament or celestial bodies, etc., and created the laws and recommendations for the guidance of the entirety or whole. You have proceeded from the inspiration or idea of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, and therefore you are animated through its breath or spirit/spirit form, so that you are a minute part of itself which will return to it at the end of all time. And this promise is truthful. Truly, the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation brought all life forth in prehistory or in the origin, all presence or existence, all kinds of life or life forms, and everything that is. And it created the law of appearing or becoming, and fading or passing equals becoming and passing by means of which it renews everything time and time again so that life may go on or continue, in reawakening or being reborn. It is through the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation that the sun shines a brightly beaming light, and the moon gives forth its shimmer, and it is through them that the sun, the moon, and the lights in the firmament or celestial bodies have their course or track, by means of which you can calculate the time and determine the directions of the winds or compass directions. And in truth, all this is created by the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, and given to you as a sign or orientation, so that you may form knowledge from it. Truly, the change of day and night, and everything that has been called into life in the firmaments or universe, and on the earths or worlds, planets, through the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, are signs or evidence for you of the presence of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation. And truly you only have to comprehend or recognize them and interpret them correctly. But if you are not willing to use the signs or evidence in everything given through the primal power or creation for your knowledge, and you are instead simply well or halfway, satisfied with the life in this world, and you reassure yourselves by simply failing to heed the signs or evidence, then you are truly not well off. Those of you who are unheeding of the signs or evidence of the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, you will not create true love and freedom in yourselves for this reason. And neither will you have peace and consonance or harmony, because you will only have lovelessness, unpeace, unfreedom or bondage, and dissonance or disharmony, which you acquire for yourselves.
Creation created the law of appearing, becoming, and fading, passing. Chapter 3, lines 5.
The teaching of the prophets is of decisive importance for you and a guideline or signposting/leading thought of the life, and therefore a foundation for leading the existence.
Creation, and the truth do not require your humble worship and submissiveness. Chapter 28, lines 176.
When approaching the whole creation, uprightness and modesty are asked for, not however doggish submissiveness, because to show this to the truth and the creation is a boundless overbearingness and an abasement beyond compare against them, because the truth and the creation do not require your humble worship and submissiveness, slavish mentality, crawling servility and serving the will of others, but rather esteem and dignity, both for them and for yourselves.
Creation, creative power, energy of all things and the immeasurable. Chapter 4, lines 149.
Truly, whoever sets fabulated or invented gods or tin gods or fabulated or invented representatives or substitutes or others at the side of the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation is indeed going very far into delusion. And truly there are no gods or tin gods who could be creators or originators of the firmaments or universe, and of the earths or worlds, planets, and the heavenly lights or celestial bodies/comets/planets/moons/meteors/shooting stars, nebulae, because the creation of all things in all firmaments or in the universe, and on all earths or worlds/planets, is solely due to the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, because truly it alone is the creative power or energy of all things and the unmeasurable secret.
Creation determined through the laws and recommendations according to its value. Chapter 6, lines 107.
And truly, the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation decide or determine everything according to its value, Therefore also that you unfold or evolve yourselves in the striving for knowledge and wisdom, so that you will one day explore or control the appearance or nature and make the waters or rain fall from the clouds according to your will, and all growth to be brought forth or formed according to your wish or will. Therefore, everything will blossom and thrive according to your will, and you will make road corn or cereals, and many other things sprout according to your consideration or discretion when you change it in its nature or gene manipulation. Therefore you will bring forth or create growth or plants, of which you yourselves are the creators, which however can only prosper through the laws of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, and through your unfolding or evolution, you bring forth gardens in which many growths or plants prosper, which are similar or unsimilar to one another, so that you have a wide variety of provision or food from all parts of the world. Truly, these are signs or evidence for all those amongst you who understand the truth.
Creation determines the growth of one's inner world, and all things become and passing. Chapter 13, lines 2 to 3.
The teaching teaches the predetermined fulfillment, which is the unfolding or evolution of the inner world or consciousness of people of your kind or human beings. For this purpose, all things are regulated or determined through the creation and its laws and recommendations, which are the laws and recommendations of all determination of the preceding and the ceasing or becoming and passing.
Creation does not create good or evil, but is determined by human beings. Chapter 6, lines 122.
Truly, as you believe in gods and demons, as well as in liberators or angels, and venerable ones or holy ones, and in the evil of your kind or personified devil, then you do this in unknowledgeness of the real truth of the true presence or existence of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, which in its consonance or harmony and neutrality creates neither good nor evil. Therefore, such doings are solely in the might and in the reflection and striving of people of your kind or human beings, as you perform it or carry out according to your free will.
Creation does not forgive or punish, but gives the laws and recommendations to follow or disregard per your free will. Chapter 5, lines 34.
The primal power of all life or creation does not forgive whomsoever it wants, and it does not punish whomsoever it wants, because it merely gives its laws and recommendations, which you shall follow or disregard according to your free will, so that you yourselves decide what is right or wrong for you and your nature or attitude, according to the laws and recommendations of the primal power of all life or creation, from which it is given that you think and act subject to your own responsibility, and you yourselves influence and form your feelings, your inner world or consciousness, and psyche, so that you may forgive yourselves or punish yourselves according to your own consideration or will discretion, as is taught to you by the true prophets, to whose teaching many of you are traitors.
Creation does not give punishment. Chapter 6, lines 52.
If an unexpected and evident punishment were meted out on you through the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, or through its laws and recommendations, as people of your kind or human beings, mete out punishment on people of your kind or fellow human beings, then you would be destroyed as a people, and as single ones or individual ones. But the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is fair, and does not mete out punishment on its creatures and creations, because punishment is a concoction or invention by people of your kind or human beings in deviancy and ausartung.
Creation does not tell you what you must do or not do. It is your own free will and responsibility. Chapter 23, lines 8 to 12.
The truth is namely that only the creation stands over you, and you are integrated into its laws and recommendations and into its effects. However, neither the creation nor its laws and recommendations determine what you have to do and not do, because that is left up to you through your will, according to which you can determine and act as you wish. It is therefore through your free will that you determine all and everything with regard to your life conduct and your destiny, with no determinations whatsoever influencing you on the part of the creation or on the part of its laws and recommendations. Therefore, if you care for your thoughts and feelings and act according to your ideas and motivations, then this is done through your own responsibility, which you alone must bear, without any involvement through the creation or its laws and recommendations. The only thing which comes forth out of the creational laws and recommendations are its effects, which regulate that from out of a distinct cause, a thereout resulting effect arises.
Creation does not consist of rigid material, but living forms, created creations, and Nature's chapter 28 lines 271.
Just as the whole wheelwork of the machinery of the creation does not consist of rigid material, but of living forms, created creations and natures, so your own wheelwork of your inner nature and your entire consciousness block is full of vitality and creates the immense effect of your existence.
Creation enduring existence of 311 billion, 40 million years chapter 28 lines 86.
The law of the interaction as well as the law of cause and effect, and the law of becoming and passing animate the immense creational system of the universe, hold it together in constant motion in the process of the 311 trillion, 40 billion, or 311 billion, 40 milliard years of the enduring existence of the creation, during which there is a constant becoming and passing, and again a new becoming.
Creation every particle is a oneness in itself chapter 25 lines 160.
Consider, however, the realm of this world and the realm of the other world, you humankind of earth, that both are a oneness in themselves, however together also form an inseparable whole, because in the whole realm of the creation every particle is a oneness in itself. However united with its opposite particle, again a completed oneness, and indeed given in such a wise that one particle has a negative and the other particle a positive energy and power.
Creation everything in existence is the act-deed of creation by the truth of the laws and recommendations chapter 11 lines 8.
Truly, you have stories or fables of the origination of your world and of the firmaments or universe, conceived through hazy pictures or delusion, of people of your kind or human beings, who thought up gods and tin gods for themselves, who are supposed to have created your earth. But these are in truth only fabulated narratives or myths by impostors without sense and value, and everything is only evident deception or delusion. Because truly everything persisting or existing was set into existence or life solely through the determining laws and recommendations of the primal power of all primal power or creation.
Creation everything in existence is the act-deed of creation by the truth of the laws and recommendations chapter 4 lines 167 to 168.
Truly, everything that has been created in the firmaments or universe and on earths or worlds, planets, is the act or deed of the creation, and also its laws and recommendations by means of which you are protected in your existence, if you give them ampleness or sufficiency, and you receive the teaching of the truth, the teaching of the Spirit, the teaching of the life through the true prophets, by which you come to know the teaching of the laws and recommendations of the creation, so that you may turn yourselves to it and be knowing or conscious in the truth, and so you give yourselves satisfaction. The firmaments or universe, and earths or worlds, planets, and all existence are created by the truth of the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, so that you are present or existent, and you may dedicate yourselves to the duty of unfolding or evolution of your inner world or consciousness.
Creation evident and superior to all only creation can create new created creations. Chapter 6 lines 108 to 115.
But as you transform or manipulate the genes of growths or plants, in their growing and their yield, as well as transforming or manipulating the genes of animals and other creatures, and you modify or breed them, then you cannot raise yourselves up as gods and tin gods, or place yourselves at the side of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, because it alone is given the might to create out of itself, created creations or creatures/creations/life forms, of all species and forms, people of your kind or human beings. However, are created creations or creations of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation. Therefore you are integrated into its laws and recommendations, so you can only bring forth or create new created creations or creatures/creations/life forms and growths, or plants, through transformation or gene manipulation and change or breeding, as is permitted to you through the laws of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation. Do not be presumptuous, and do not regard yourselves as rivals of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, because no matter how knowing or conscious and wise you may be, you as people of your kind or human beings can never be equal to it. Through its laws and recommendations, you have come forth from the earth as people of your kind or human beings. But do not impute to the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation any sons or any daughters in your own knowledge, because it is sublime or superior over having other mights next to itself, except itself. The primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is the sole and unaccompanied creator of all firmaments or universe, and earths or worlds, planets, and lights or celestial bodies in the firmament, and therefore of all vitalities or life forms' existence. Therefore how should it have sons and daughters, as it has no companion and created everything alone, and is knowing or conscious of all things? 111. And truly, the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is the sole might of all presence or existence, in the firmaments or universe, of all earths or worlds, planets, and lights or celestial bodies, in the firmament, as well as of all things over which it is the guardian. The eyesight of people of your kind or human beings cannot reach the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation in its value or power, of its invisible spirit body or invisible spirituality/spirit energy. But you can see its creation in the appearance or nature, and in the firmaments or universe, as well as on the earths or worlds, planets, and in the lights or celestial bodies of the firmament. Therefore it which is incomprehensible to you reaches you with its fullness. Through the firmaments or universe, and through the earths or worlds, planets, and also through the appearance or nature, through all created creations or life forms and all things, you are given visible evidence of the presence or existence of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, and whoever amongst you sees and comprehends or recognizes them, it is to their own benefit. But whoever is blind or does not see, that is to say, recognize the evidence, this is to their own disadvantage, because they do not recognize themselves as guardians over what has been given to them through the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, and has been entrusted for protection and preservation. If you heed all the manifold signs or unsurpassabilities in the appearance or nature, then you will comprehend or recognize the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all the vitalities or creation, so that you will learn to interpret them and to make them clear to yourselves of what importance they are for people of your kind or human beings, and for the existence, so that you may know about the real truth and no longer go into confusion. Follow what is revealed to you by the signs or unsurpassabilities of the appearance or nature, so you comprehend or recognize that there are no gods or tin gods and no people of your kind or human beings who could accomplish such miracles or outstanding things as the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation does and presents or gives to you as a gift of love. Therefore turn yourselves away from gods and tin gods and people of your kind who raise themselves up as gods, or servants of gods or servants of tin gods, and lead you into the delusion and servitude or bondage of godlinesses or religions, and sub-godlinesses or sects, cults,
Creation. False stories of creation by humans are delusions, are hazy pictures. Chapter 11 lines 8.
Truly, you have stories or fables of the origination of your world and of the firmaments or universe, conceived through hazy pictures or delusion of people of your kind or human beings, who thought up gods and tin gods for themselves, who are supposed to have created your earth. But these are in truth only fabulated narratives or myths by impostors without sense and value, and everything is only evident deception or delusion. Because truly everything persisting or existing was set into existence or life solely through the determining laws and recommendations of the primal power of all primal power or creation.
Creation formed the laws and recommendations which do not bend. Chapter 7 lines 194.
And if you want the laws and recommendations of the wellspring of the love or creation to bend according to you, then they do not do this, irrespective of whether you call upon or curse them, or you are silent, because they are formed according to the idea of the wellspring of the love or creation, and only integrated into its might, however not into yours.
Creation gifts of Chapter 3 lines 19 to 21.
Consider, your life is made beautiful through all the gifts of the creative or creation, through all the things that you desire, through your women and men and children, through all the animals and other creatures, the plants and trees, through the entire appearance or nature and the amassed piles of those uncountable things that bring you joy and pleasure. All of this is supplied for your existence by the creative or creation on earth, which is your beautiful homestead in your life. And there can be no better news for you than that you will have a comprehensively good existence if you follow the teaching of the prophets, which is the teaching of the laws and recommendations of the primal raising or creation, and if you uphold love and peace amongst yourselves, as well as freedom and attunement or harmony. For those who fear the unright and unknowledgeness, the vast garden of the truth is full of good and nourishing fruits, and the streams which flow through the garden are full of good and healing waters. And you shall live in this garden in pleasure, so that you live in love and peace and fulfill freedom and attunement or harmony.
Creation gives fulfillment. Chapter 10 lines 10 to 12.
However, those others who are knowing or conscious in the truth and in the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, and who do good deeds, they are led or guided in equitableness or fairness, righteousness or conscientiousness, and as fair ones or responsibility-conscious ones for the sake of their truth knowledge. Through them flow streams of blissfulness, happiness, and joy, as well as of inner peace, love, and freedom, and of consonance or harmony. Their thoughts honor the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation and life, and their greeting will always be peace and wisdom, and their thanks belong to the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation. And those amongst you who accelerate every calamity and every terrible thing, as you also wish to accelerate the accumulation of riches, your fixed time of life is flowing past senselessly, because you live an existence or life of continuous hoping that goes unfulfilled, because you find yourselves in haphazard confusion and, in your delusion, you do not see either the true life, its benefit or success, or the advantages.
Creation gives life and brings about death. Chapter 10 lines 57.
It is the primal wellspring of all wisdom or creation, which gives life and brings about death to everything persisting or existing, through its all-embracing laws and recommendations, so that everything may come about anew in reawakening or new birth and rebirth, and will one day return to it because everything belongs to it and has come forth from it.
Creation gives life to everything in existence and to all created creations. Chapter 28 lines 180.
Be certain, there is only one creation as all-embracing energy and power which gives life to everything in existence and to all created creations. namely the universal consciousness which as the whole creation also includes itself and everything created through it. And there is no God, no tin god, and no idolized human being who would, even in a speck of dust of a weight, be equal to the creation, because all godheads and tin gods are only insubstantialities fabulated by you human beings and are without any energy and power, just like the human beings who you raise to idols of godly equivalence.
Creation has invisible spirit body, spirit energy, chapter 6 lines 112.
The eyesight of people of your kind or human beings cannot reach the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation in its value or power of its invisible spirit body or invisible spirituality/spirit energy. But you can see its creation in the appearance or nature and in the firmaments or universe, as well as on the earths or worlds, planets, and in the lights or celestial bodies of the firmament. Therefore it, which is incomprehensible to you, reaches you with its fullness.
Creation has let everything come to be through its idea, chapter 25 lines 112.
They, however, do not know the reality of the real truth, namely that no God or Creator is the origin of all things and all existence, but the creation itself, which has let everything come to be through its idea, from out of which it has also created its creational laws and recommendations, out of which all effects imaginable arise through cause and effect, wherethrough nothing comes about through haphazard. That is to say, through chance, but only through the foreordination and determination. Hence everything all around has its regulation, and there is no chaos.
Creation honor it, chapter 8 lines 1 to 4.
Honor the creation of all things, or creation, and its appearance or nature, because everything has proceeded from its laws and recommendations in concord or harmony with its basic thought or idea and its power. And as you consider the creation of all things or creation, then regulate in yourselves and amongst all people of your kind or humankind, all things in concord or harmony, and follow the laws and recommendations of the creation of all things or creation, so that you may go along with it in consonance or harmony. Be truthfully knowing ones and wise ones in your inner world or consciousness, so you vibrate in truth in your thoughts and feelings and in your psyche when you see the unsurpassabilities or miracles of the appearance or nature and the signs or evidence of the creation of all things or creation. And when you see the signs or evidence and unsurpassabilities or miracles, then be still and introspective in deference or venerability in yourselves, and trust in the goodness and love that go forth from the creation of all things or creation and through its laws and recommendations. And fulfill your thanks for what it gives to you and has been preparing for you since time immemorial, so that you may live or exist and enjoy your existence or life in accordance with your own discretion.
Creation human from nature of the laws and recommendations, chapter 7 lines 10.
You are created from the appearance or nature of the laws and recommendations of the wellspring of the love or creation, and it is from the appearance or nature that your form has also come forth, however also your freedom or autonomy, so that you are independent in your determinations or decisions, and in your power to act or will, and you do not have to submit yourselves to the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation if you do not strive to do so. But consider in this, that even if you have your free determination or decision, and your free power to act or will, you are nevertheless integrated into the activity of the laws and recommendations of the wellspring of the love or creation. Therefore your actions bring forth distinct decisions or effects, or law of cause and effect.
Creation is sublime over all things, chapter 6 lines 27. Creation is the immeasurable secret from which all being originated, chapter 2 lines 129.
No god and no tin god shall be prayed to, because only the vast primal raising or creation is the unmeasurable secret from which all being originated.
Creation is the primal wellspring of wisdom, chapter 3, lines 136.
The primal wellspring of wisdom or creation is everything that exists in the firmaments or universe, and on the earths or worlds, planets, and it has presented everything before you so that you may manage it rightfully, and may also be rightful yourselves. Therefore you may decide to act rightfully in all things.
Creation is the sole and unaccompanied creator of all universes, worlds, celestial bodies and life forms, chapter 6, lines 110 to 111.
The primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is the sole and unaccompanied creator of all firmaments or universe, and earths or worlds, planets, and lights or celestial bodies in the firmament, and therefore of all vitalities or life forms, existence. Therefore, how should it have sons and daughters, as it has no companion and created everything alone, and is knowing or conscious of all things? 111. And truly, the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is the sole might of all presence or existence in the firmaments or universe, of all earths or worlds, planets, and lights or celestial bodies in the firmament, as well as of all things over which it is the guardian.
Creation is the truth, the all-timely living one being. It created everything, chapter 6, lines 80 to 87.
The primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is truly the sole great wisdom or creation. It itself is the truth, the one which created the firmaments or universe, and earths or worlds, planets, and the heavenly lights or celestial bodies, and therefore it is the all-timely living one or being, since the days when it created everything, and it will remain the all-timely living one or being, until the day when it once again lies in slumber in order to reawaken or become existent once again, at its time, which is determined to it in the greatness of time or all great time. And truly, the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is solely the bearer and knower of all concealments, and for people of your kind or human beings, it is the unmeasurable secret, or the unfathomable, inscrutable, no matter how all-knowing you may be. And since only the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation is the truth of all truth, and is the unmeasurable secret, or the unfathomable, inscrutable, so you are not able to make any illusions of it, as you cannot set any gods and tin gods next to it, or people of your kind or human beings, who raise themselves up over you as gods or tin gods. Therefore, however, if you think differently, and if you turn to other things, like the false teachings of the false prophets, then you are living in obvious confusion. Raise your eyes and let your eyes wander about, over the firmaments or universe, over the heavenly lights or celestial bodies, and over your earth, so that you see what the truth of the reality is that cannot be created by people of your kind or human beings, who raise themselves up as gods or tin gods, and neither by gods and tin gods, all of whom are only fantasies of invented hazy pictures or delusions. Keep yourselves far away from the fabulations or inventions of false prophets who present illusions to you that are far from the truth and reality, so that you may count yourselves amongst the firm ones or strong ones in the knowledge of the truth. And if the night overshadows you, or if you are befallen by unknowledge, then look for a light or knowledge, which rises in you so that you do not founder in the darkness of the night or in unknowledge. And if you see the moon rise, or how knowledge is unfolding, spreading out its light or knowledge, then follow the light or expand the knowledge, so that it no longer sets or no longer disappears. So you are rightly led and are not amongst those who have gone astray. And if you see the sun rise or great knowledge, spreading out its beams or wisdom, then it is the greatest thing that you can achieve, and from which you form your unfolding or evolution, which no longer sets, once you have created it in yourselves. Truly, if you have created radiation or wisdom, an unfolding or evolution in yourselves, then you have no part or blame in whatever the ones unknowing of the truth and unfair ones or irresponsible ones, the unrighteous ones or conscienceless ones, and virtueless ones have done of evil and of terribleness of all kinds, just as you also have no part or blame if they place fabulated or invented gods and tin gods next to the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, or people of your kind or human beings who raise themselves up as gods, or tin gods or their envoys, or representatives or substitutes. Look and turn your face to the truth, to the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, which alone is the truth of all truth and alone the greatness of wisdom or creation, because it is the sole might over everything that exists in the firmaments or universe, and on the earths or worlds, planets, as well as in the lights of the sky or firmament. Therefore you may recognize or see this truth, and be upright in your knowledge of it, so that you rely solely upon the truth and do not place any gods or tin gods next to the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, and also no people of your kind or human beings, because all of these are powerless or incapable and cannot bring forth or create any life.
Creation is the unfolding equals becoming, being equals existence. Chapter 12 lines 2.
The words of the teaching of the prophets is the teaching of the truth of the laws and recommendations of the unfolding of being or creation equals unfolding equals becoming. Being equals existence, and it is given to you so that you may understand the existence or life and all things that are connected to it.
Creation, it alone created everything on earth and universe by logical principles founded in truth. Chapter 2 lines 62.
It is the creative or creation alone which created everything that is on earth and in the unending expanses of the universe, and it created and completed all life and existence through its logical principles that are founded in truth. And therefore it is the creative or creation that forms the breath of the life as a part piece in you and in all life forms as well as in everything existing.
Creation, it formed the idea from which everything came. Chapter 2 lines 173.
The creation alone is the creation of the firmaments or universe, and of the earths or worlds, planets. It formed the idea from which everything became.
Creation, it is the highest heightening above everything else. You cannot place gods or tin gods next to it. Chapter 6 lines 160.
And consider those who want to lead you into confusion, and who place gods and tin gods at the side of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation. They are committing their defilement in vain, because the wisdom of all wisdom or creation cannot have any gods and tin gods placed next to it, neither any people of your kind or human beings who raise themselves up as gods or tin gods, because it is itself the highest heightening or sublimity above everything else in its all-embracing wisdom. Therefore, not even your forefathers and foremothers or forebears/forebears before them, and your forefathers and foremothers or ancestors, forebears, could place any gods or tin gods or any people of your kind or human beings next to the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, just as you cannot either, because in your lowliness you are by no means of its kind. Therefore you cannot illicitly place gods and tin gods or people of your kind or human beings next to it. However, if you dare in the presumptuousness of a belief or assumptions in gods and tin gods and people of your kind, or human beings, to place these at the side of the primal wellspring of all vitalities or creation, by praying to your gods and tin gods and people of your kind or human beings, instead of being connected to it, then you are deceiving yourselves and committing an outrage against the truth.
Creation, it is the highest over you. Not gods or tin gods, and you shall keep it honored. Chapter 2 lines 290.
Do not quarrel with people of your kind or fellow human beings, or with those without equitableness, or unfair ones, irresponsible ones, inequitable ones, and not with unknowing ones, and therefore not with believers regarding the real truth, because it is given by the laws and recommendations of the primal power or creation, and they are immutable. Only the wellspring of wisdom or creation is the true might over you and the unmeasurable secret, and you shall not have either other mights or gods and tin gods or venerable ones or holy ones beside it. Truly, only the wellspring of wisdom or creation is the highest over you, and it alone has performed the great works on earths or worlds, planets, and in the firmaments or universe, and only from it have all earths or worlds, planets, and firmaments or universe, and all life originated. In the same wise you also shall carry out your works according to your ability, so that great as greatness and good as goodness may come forth from them. And when doing this, be at all times upright in your efforts, because you shall not be malefactors or lawbreakers, and remember that you shall not misuse the name of the wellspring of wisdom or creation, and that you shall keep it honored.
Creation, its energy and power and laws and recommendations streams through everything. Chapter 25 lines 36 to 38.
Truly, you humankind of Earth, your consciousness with its intellect and its rationality stands before the incomprehensible energy and power of the creation and its laws and recommendations, which streams through everything existing, whereas the energy and power of the creation lives and works from out of itself. And you human beings receive the energy and power of the creation and its laws and recommendations at every moment of your lives as implicitness, without you making even a tiny iota of thoughts about it. And were you to do so, then despite your intellect you could still not realize what the creational energy and power in reality are. Your consciousness and your thereout resulting rationality and your intellect offer only an inadequate activity, where through naturally your consciousness works are also subject to a restriction, which is the rationality, the intellect as well as the thoughts and feelings, and out of this very reason alone, your learning, you humankind of Earth, with regard to the effective recognition of the real truth of all truth, remains left to your intellect and your rationality alone, through which you must perceive and recognize the truth, and take it into cognizance in order to work it out as knowledge, experience it, and then live it, out of which only then the essence evolves, the wisdom, which is relatively complete truth. Relative, because the real truth of all truth always and endlessly leads to new perceptions, cognitions and cognizances, to expanded knowledge and the experience thereof, and to the living of what is experienced, and then to flow again into the essence, that is to say, into and thus into the effective relative truth, which is again the cause for new things, that is to say, new effects to continuously come forth out of it as wisdom, that is to say, truth.
Creation, its laws and recommendations are free from punishment and obedience. Chapter 8 lines 34.
The creation of all things or creation is not like the fabulated or invented gods and tin gods who supposedly demand punishment and obedience from you. The creation of all things or creation and its laws and recommendations are, however, free from punishment and obedience.
Creation, knowing the truth about creation, creates love, freedom, peace, and harmony. Chapter 22 lines 21 to 22.
And whoever knows the truth about the creation and about its laws and recommendations, and learns knowledge and wisdom out of this, will be free in himself or herself, because he or she creates true love and freedom, as well as peace and harmony in his or her inner nature, out of which a consciousness-based and psychical well-being shines forth. Thus everything falls away which greedily craves for absolute might, through which the thinking and the life of the fellow human beings shall be ruled, as is normal amongst those who in their outer tongue of the might-greed not only hold the scepter above you human beings, but also make you subserviently dependent, enslave you, and exploit you in every possible form.
Creation Laws and Recommendations, Understanding Them, Chapter 22, lines 5 to 15.
Therefore, the real life is made up of more than just those things that are learned and taken in as school knowledge, because truly, there is a really true and higher regulation in the life which is based in the creational laws and recommendations, from out of which everything comes forth which becomes and passes. Therefore it is through this regulation that the becoming and passing is determined, as well as the causality, that is to say, the cause and effect. Painful happenings also have their place in the higher regulation of the life, because they also fulfill their purpose. Solely the causes and interconnections as well as the effects must be recognized and understood, through which a learning results, out of which in the end the evolution results. If you human beings are pursued by the unfortunate and are unable to form your lives as harmoniously as you would like, then you are able to change this if you turn to the consonants of the cosmic regulation and therefore to the creational laws and recommendations and follow them. Therefore, it is useful to consider why precisely this or that is done, so that it is possible to act with confidence and for everything to turn to the good. Truly, creational powers that are building up you human beings are always at work in you, which penetrate into the consciousness and trigger processes through which consciousness powers come about, the task of which is to heal the harms inflicted on the body or to remove tensions in the realm of the psyche, as well as to show in you, in your mental, feeling-based, and willing undecidedness, the right way. The creational laws and recommendations and their powers also cause swinging waves to act in the universe, through which you human beings are influenced, and wherethrough you can direct your consciousness and its capabilities, as well as your thoughts and feelings, and form your psyche. And it is necessary for you to know and understand the entirety of these things if you want to have real and valuable success in the life. It is necessary that you live in ample harmony with the powers that are in you and around you, as well as with the disharmonious powers that stand in contradiction to them, since everything is built up on contrarinesses and therefore always both poles, positive and negative, must be taken into consideration and included in the efficacy of the equalization, for which there is no middle way. Solely the understanding of the creational laws and recommendations is truthfully the key to the right guidance and mastery of the life. The understanding of the higher regulation of the creational laws and recommendations forms the constitution of the life. Therefore, it is of decisive importance for the existence.